Hi, TPT sellers. In this episode, I'm going to go over search engine optimization secret number 3 on TPT. We're going to talk about how long should your keyword be and how the length of your keyword impacts where you show up on TPT Search. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mike Fuchigami. I'm the host of the SEOTpreneur YouTube community. I have discovered the developer manual that TPT search engineers use to make their search engine. Since 2019, they've been using a search company called Algolia. Algolia is fundamentally different from other search engines. So if your TPT SEO knowledge comes from people who were selling before 2019 and they're sharing their experiences about how they got to their stage of the game, just understand that the technology before 2019 was different. Algolia has 8 rules, and it's basically using a tiebreaker formula. In the first episode, we talked about typos and how the exact spelling of your keyword matches. Last week, we looked at how the Algolia search engine can let TPT show results based on your geographic location. So the closer you are to the person searching, the higher you show up on TPT Search. And this is what I think TPT Search did to do personalized search. It's not in play anymore, and you can watch this video to find out more. In today's video, we're going to look at tiebreaker rule number 3, which has to do with the number of words in your title that match the keyword phrase that the teacher is searching up on TPT. The number of words matter, and if you want to optimize your product so that it has the best chance of showing up higher on TPT Search, then you should watch this video to the end, because I'm going to go over the theory. Then I'm going to go into TPT Search to see what it actually does. And then I'm going to show you some popularity numbers for some trending TPT keywords today. And we're going to look at how the TPT popularity rank of a keyword helps us find high search volume, low competition keywords. And that depends on the stage of the game you're at. A high volume, low competition keyword for me might be different for a TPT whale who has a product that has thousands of units sold. We're not competing for the same TPT niche unicorn keywords. This episode is for hamsters and hawks. If you don't know what I mean by those terms, check out TPT Masterclass number 2, and I'll go through the entire stages of the teacherpreneur business. Let's talk about your keyword strategy and the number of words in the keyword phrases that you are trying to rank for. So in Google SEO land, there's this idea about short tail keywords and long tail keywords. A short tail keyword is something like math. And then the more words you add to your keyword phrase, the longer that tail becomes. So for example, end of year is relatively speaking still a shorter tail keyword. A longer keyword might be something like end of the year activities. And then a very long tail keyword would be something like end of the year activities middle school. So in Google SEO land and in TPT SEO land, it's commonly known that shorter tail keywords have higher search volume. More people are looking for these short tail keywords, then there's more money, because the greater the search volume, the greater the traffic. The more traffic you get, the more page views you get. The more page views you get, it goes down the funnel into sales. But of course, the moment I said that you get more page views, instantly you thought, yeah, Mike, that's not going to happen, because there's way more competition for those short tail keywords. And then some of you are saying, Mike, in my niche, it's oversaturated. I sell primary resources. If I didn't get into the game 10 years ago, then there's no way I can compete. Well, no, there are ways that you can compete. Let's keep on watching. A longer tail keyword has less search volume, but also because it's a more specific keyword, there's less competition. And then finally, a very long keyword will have very little search volume, but the benefit is there's also very little competition. So for example, end of the year activities middle school is a very long, very specific product. So one strategy is that you try to rank for multiple keywords. In terms of Google organic search, you might have a blog post page that is optimized for several keywords, because in theory, the more keywords that you compete for, well, the more traffic you get, and the more traffic you get, the more money you can make. One of the TPT sellers that I know in the pro community, they are intentionally going after very niche, very specific keywords with each product. And by having a library of many products going after these niche keywords, well, if you're searching that niche keyword on TPT, when you find their resource, it is exactly what you need. And by having a large library of these resources, the plan is, yep, they're going to make they're going to make only a couple dollars per resource, but all of those resources add up. The other strategy on TPT to think about is that TPT snowball effect. We try to rank for long tail keywords like end of the year activities middle school because we have a greater chance of showing up on the first page for that. If we show up on the first page, we get a couple of sales. The more sales we get, the more units sold we get, the more reviews we get, the better that resource does in terms of ranking higher on TPT SEO. And when we get to rule number 8, that's where businesses are able to put in their business data to help with the ranking, which means if we want to be strategic and if we want to optimize and give our TPT products the best chances of ranking high, then we need to optimize for our words, right? So the first 7 rules of the game have to do with standard Algolia search engine rules. And if we understand how the search engine works, we can play the game better. So if I rank for a long tail keyword like end of the year activities middle school, and I start to sell well on that, then the snowball grows and it gets bigger because I'm getting more units sold and I'm getting more reviews, which means now I'm going to start to rank for that shorter tail keyword, end of the year activities. I mean, it's still a long tail keyword, but it's shorter than end of the year activities middle school. And this end of the year activities has a higher search volume, which means I get more eyeballs. And because I have more units sold and more reviews, I'm now able to compete with those products, which leads to more sales. And then maybe I can rank for end of the year. Now, end of the year by itself isn't very useful because you're going to be competing against primary resources and elementary resources if I sell middle school. But later on, we'll talk about how filters and attributes in the search engine help the buyer narrow down what they are looking for. A niche unicorn is my phrase for those mythical keywords. The ideal niche unicorn is one that has a lot of search volume, but no competition. This is the ideal. In reality, what happens is we find a keyword that has more search volume and less competition. And if your resources have thousands of units sold, then you're going to be able to compete with other resources that also have thousands of units sold. So a niche unicorn for you will be different from a niche unicorn for me. I might be looking for something that has, sure, it has less volume, but it has more volume than other keywords and the competition is low. So then I have a very good chance of ranking on the first page. How do we find niche unicorns? I'm making a popularity rank keyword tool. If you've watched my earlier videos, you know that TPT has a popularity rank for each keyword. That information is loaded in our browser every time we do a search. It's in the code if you speak code, but not everyone speaks code. So I made a Google Sheet. It's experimental right now, so it's only available to SEOTpreneur Pro members. But basically, I can see something like Grammar Review has a popularity rank of 169. If a popularity rank of 1,000 is good and 10,000 is great, then 169 is met. But at my stage of the game, 169 is still better than a popularity rank of 16. What this keyword tool lets me do is it lets me look up different keywords, see what TPT suggests, find out the popularity rank, and then it goes to the first page and it figures out the number of reviews for that first resource and the bottom resource on that first page, and then the average number of reviews. In this example, I can see that Grammar Worksheets Middle School has a popularity rank of 27, so it's not great, but the last resource on that first search page has 0 reviews. I bet you I can rank for it. And then I might try to rank for Fun ELA Activities Middle School. Once I start to rank up a couple of sales on that resource, then I can be strategic. I could go for Grammar Review, which has a popularity rank of 169, and the last resource on that first search result page has 79 reviews. Or I could go for Grammar Games, which has a lower popularity rank, but way more competition for that bottom resource. So when I get to that stage of the game, I'll try to optimize for Grammar Review before I try to optimize for Grammar Games. So a keyword tool that shows you the popularity rank and numeric value for the TPT search keyword term is what we actually need in order to find higher search volume, lower competition keywords. If we want to optimize our resources to do better on TPT search so we get seen more, so we make more sales, then we have to understand how the Algolia search engine works. It's not based on keyword density. It looks at a series of rules in order, and for each rule, it sorts you based on whatever that rule is. If there is a tie, then it goes to the next rule to break the tiebreaker. then it goes to the next rule. So if I'm searching for color in color and I spell it the British way, but the person searching is American, as most buyers on TPT are, my resource for coloring sheets will show up in the second group and it won't be seen at all. I have to make sure I have the American spelling color in my TPT product title in order to show up in that first group. If I don't show up in that first group, I am out of the game. The second group is about geolocation. I don't think this rule is on right now. So then we all tie and we go on to the third rule. When personalized search was on, I think this is how they were trying to make it more personalized by geographic location. The next rule, which is about the number of words that the teacher is searching up. If you want to be in the front part of this group so that you can go on to the next rule, then you've got to make sure that you play the game. So the question is, how many words do you have that match the search phrase that the teacher typed? Someone's going to ask me, do I need to have all of the words that the teacher types in search, or can I just have some of them? And if I have some of them, well, how many do I need to have? The default setting in Algolia search is you have to have all of them. For those of you who speak code, this is the AND operator. Now, TPT could choose a different setting, which basically says that some words are optional. And if you speak code, this is the OR operator. So it could be the first or the second or the third word for you to show up in TPT search. If TPT is using the default setting in Algolia, then it would have to have the first word and the second word and the third word in order for you to show up. If we look at the developer manual, by default, Algolia only matches results that contain all of the query's words. But if TPT sets it up so that we only need some words, then it gets ranked by the number of words that we have in our product that matches the search phrase that the teacher uses. And the TPT search manual says that it doesn't matter how many times that keyword phrase shows up in the record. I think this is fundamentally different from the old way when TPT started to run their search engine. This is where the problem of keyword stuffing would have come in. If you use the same keyword over and over and over and over again, that could unduly affect the search results. Now, whenever I hear some TPT search guru talk about things, I instantly compare it to my own experience. And when I hear my mouth say, it doesn't matter how many times the word appears in the record, my first thought is, well, I've done some experiments where when I put ChatGPT as a keyword many times into the product description, my search listing position increased. And that's because I think keyword density could be a factor at rule number 8. So rule number 8 is where they consider things like the number of units sold, what your rating is, how many reviews you have left. Maybe there's a store halo effect or a multiplier there. Maybe they look at keyword density. But all of that fun stuff happens in rule number 8. At rule number 3, which is where we are today, keyword density does not matter. So the more times you use the keyword phrase in your product doesn't matter at rule number 3. It matters at rule number 8, but if you don't rank at rule number 3, it doesn't matter how you did for rule number 8 unless the search term has low competition and there's only a couple of pages of search results. And then in that case, everyone sort of shows up. So the developer manual says if a user typed 2 words in the search bar, the maximum score for this criterion is 2, even if a record contains the word 10 times. If TPT is using the optional word setting, and we only need to have some of the words that the teacher is searching for, then in theory, we want to have as many words as possible in our TPT product title that matches what teachers are searching for. So for counting the number of words that matches, if someone types in year end or end, if we have both of those words, in either order, then our best word score will be 2. Does the order matter? Not at this rule, but later on, one of the other rules is exact match. So if your resource has the exact phrase that teachers are searching for, then you will have a boost in your search ranking. If the teacher is searching for end of year, the best word score you can have is 3. If you have year end, you'll be sorted into the second group. If you have something like end semester or year book, then you only have 1 word matching and you'll show up in the last group. If the teacher is looking for end of the year, there's 4 words in that search phrase. If you have all 4 words, you will be at the front of the group, tied with all the other resources that have all 4 words. If you only have end of year in your title, then you only have 3 words matching and you'll be in the next group. I think you get the idea. If you want to rank for these long tail keywords, you've got to have all of the keywords end of the year activities. If you only have end of year, you'll only match 3 words. And so then you'll be in that third group. Finally, if my strategy is to rank for end of the year activities middle school, there are 7 words. The best score I can get is 7. If you have end of the year activities, you'll still show up, but you only have 5 words that match, so you'll be in a different group than I am. But if there aren't a lot of resources with end of the year activities middle school, well, then my group might be very small, and then even though you have fewer words matching, your group still might be visible on that first or second page. Well, what about words like of or the? Do they really count in search? In the search engine developer code, they're called stop words. The, on, it, what. And the developers can ignore stop words or they can pay attention to them. So what we have to figure out on TPT Search is, are the stop words highlighted in the search results? If words like the are highlighted, it means they count as a search word by the search engine. So then we have to consider them if we want to optimize our TPT product for the TPT search engine. Theory is great, but we actually have to look and see how TPT is implementing the search engine. So the first question is going to be, can we find an example where a TPT search result doesn't have all of the search words? Remember, the default setting for this search engine out of the box is to have all of the search words. So let's look up end of the year activities middle school. I'm going to type in TPT search, end of the year activities middle school. And then I hit enter. 68,000 results. I can see end of year middle school. And although it doesn't have the word the in the title, or maybe it does. No, it doesn't have the word the in the title. I can see it's highlighted the word the in the product description. I'm going to try to jump to the end. This is search page 2. I'm going to type in search page 50. Nope, that's too far. I'm going to type search page 15. There we go. By the way, did you notice how it now has 70,000 search results? Part of me wonders if I've been randomly selected for a different search engine algorithm. Who knows? Okay, so right here I see a resource, end of the year activities. I don't see the phrase middle school. I'm just going to go to this resource. I'm going to go Control F to find, and I'm going to type middle school. Here we go. So middle school does not show up at all on this resource, but it showed up in the search for this long tail keyword, end of the year activities middle school. So this just proves that TPT search doesn't require us to have all of the keywords. We only need some of them. But the more keywords that we match with the teacher searching, the higher we will rank on TPT search. Whenever you watch a video about TPT SEO, you need to watch it with a certain sense of skepticism. If someone writes something about TPT SEO in the forums or a Facebook group, we have to challenge assumptions. Here's an assumption I made in this video that you probably agreed with based on what you know on TPT search. I said that short tail keywords get more search volume because that's the way it is in Google search. And shorter tail keywords are where the money's at, and we are looking for those niche unicorns which have fewer competitors. So let's play a game. I'm going to give you some keywords, and I want you to guess how much search volume do you think they have? What about a short tail keyword like end year? How much search volume do you think that phrase gets? What if I flip the order around and say year end? Does that get more search volume, less search volume, the same amount? What about end of year compared with end of the year? How much search volume do you think those will get? What about end of year activities or end of the year activities? So now our keyword phrase has 5 words, end of the year activities. How do you think it ranks? And then finally, end of the year activities middle school. So if I count the number of words in each phrase, I put them in the column on the left-hand side here. The shortest keyword phrase has 2 words. The longest keyword phrase has 7 words. I have a challenge for you at home. Pause the video, go to TPT. I want you to guess how much search volume each of these keyword phrases gets and what kind of competition there is. If we were at TPT Forward and if I was leading a session, this is where I would pause, maybe put on some background music, give you 5 minutes, play on the internet, because I'm going to show my results. And then if your results are different from my results, we have to figure out why. How did I figure out something? Or why did you get a different result than I did? Because if you watched the last video, you know that right now It doesn't matter who you are or where you are, the search results are the same. There's no personalized search. Watch this video to see what I mean. So grab a piece of paper, jot down the keywords, come up with a number for search volume, and for competitors, number of reviews, whatever that is. Okay, here are my predictions. I predicted that the first two keywords would have the highest search volume because they both have 2 words. And then I thought end of year would have higher volume because it has 3 keywords. I thought end of the year and end of year activities would both have around the same volume because they both have around 4 keywords. I thought end of the year activities would have a little bit less. And I thought end of the year activities middle school was the longest keyword phrase and so it would have the lowest volume. The challenge on TPT Search is as you start typing end, it instantly suggests end of the year, end of year. I wonder if this influences how people search. Maybe they'll click end of the year activities because that's the second phrase, instead of end of year activities because that's the 5th phrase. So then I wonder if there's a snowball effect. As terms become more popular, then they go higher up in the suggestion page, and then more people click on that, and then it sort of spirals. And this is how I think if you can get ahead of a keyword before it goes viral, like solar eclipse, then you might do quite well. I use the AI keyword tool that I showed earlier to figure out the popularity rank, the number of resources for that search term, and the number of reviews for the last resource on the first page. End of year has a popularity rank of 12. An excellent popularity rank on TPT might be 10,000. A good popularity rank might be 1,000. An okay popularity rank might be a couple hundred. 12 isn't so good. And if I search for end year, there are 250,000 resources that have the word end or have the word year somewhere in the product title. And the bottom resource on that first page has 3.8 thousand reviews. If I look up year end, the popularity rank is higher. That means more people, around 7 times more people, are searching. Actually, I can't say it's 7 times more people because it's not actually the search volume. It's just the ranking of the search volume. So I know the rank is 7 times higher, but I don't know that the search volume is 7 times higher. Year end is a better search term than end year, but either way, that last resource has 3.8 thousand reviews. It's probably the same resource because they have the same number of reviews. End of year has a popularity rank of 2,118. This is a good search term to go after, but I need to have a resource that has around 3.8 thousand reviews. If you do, that might be a resource to go after, end of year. When I search up end of the year, it has half of the popularity rank. So it only has a popularity rank of 1,000. So in this case, it's better for me to go for end of year instead of end of the year. What about end of year activities? A popularity rank of 988, but the number of reviews is also lower by 1,000. So if I have a resource that has around 2,000 reviews and not 3,000 reviews, I might try to go after end of year activities. On the other hand, end of the year activities with that word the has a popularity rank of 5,000 basically. So people are searching up end of the year activities way more than people are searching up end of year activities. But the number of competition is about the same. That last resource on the first page with 2.1 thousand reviews, it's probably the same resource showing up for end of year activities and end of the year activities, but you can see how looking up the popularity rank is a game changer. I would definitely want to go after end of the year activities. Finally, end of the year activities, middle school, I thought would have the lowest popularity rank, but it doesn't. It has the 3rd lowest popularity rank at 86. And the resource at the bottom of the first page only has 11 reviews. In terms of TPT keyword niche unicorns, if I have a new product and I don't have an established store with thousands of people in my mailing list and tens of thousands of followers, if I don't have those advantages, then when I put out a resource, I've got to try to be seen and compete with other resources that haven't really sold a lot. End of the year by itself, it's just too competitive. I can't compete with 3.8 thousand reviews. By the way, this middle column here is the average number of reviews on that first page. So 11 here is an outlier, but it's a very interesting outlier. On the other hand, if you have a resource that's been sold 2,000 times and it's been around for a while, you probably want to go for end of the year activities instead of end of year activities. Even though it's a longer keyword, The popularity rank right now is 5,000. Obviously, these popularity rank numbers change. They're very time specific. But as of June 16, 2024, end of the year activity still has a popularity rank of 5,000. Let's go over some key TPT SEO takeaways. Number one, it's important to remember that even though we talked the whole episode about words, the number one ranking factor on TPT is spelling. It's typos. Go watch this video to find out what I mean by that. Everything we talked about today is rule number 3. Actually, it's rule number 2 because geography is rule number 2, but TPT isn't using it. So the second most important ranking factor on TPT is the number of words you have in your product title that matches the number of words that the teacher is searching on TPT. This is where you play the game of, well, what are teachers searching for and how do they search for that? And then you've got to go to TPT and look to see end of the year activities. Oh yeah, that's what people are searching for, right? Oh, but that search stuff last day of school. Wait, what? Did you just see that? End of the year activities. If I search for that, this time it didn't. This time it says end of the year activities. Am I crazy? I need to rewatch that. This is where I think TPT plays with the rules. And later on in the video, I'm going to talk about how if people search for this, they're actually searching for that. And you can hard code some word patterns. For example, if people are searching phone and you sell office telephone systems that plug into the wall, when people are typing in phone, they're really searching up smartphones. You can code your search engine to substitute search phrases. But I'm going to try this again. End of the year. I'm going to click on this and it's still end of the year. I'm not crazy, right? I'm going to go back and watch that again. This might be A/B testing, where it swapped out last day of school activities. This could be a cache. Let me try, but it doesn't even show up here last day. So I'm going to try here, end of the year. Nah, I can't recreate it. If you ever come up with something fun like that in your research, leave a comment. I'd love to hear about it. But I think one of the versions of the search engine that maybe they're testing, maybe someone put in end of the year should really mean last day activities and pull up those things. Interesting, I tell you. Just when you think you know how TPT search works, something else happens. A key takeaway today is you are ranked by the number of matching words typed by the user. So if they type end of the year and that has 4 words, but in your product you have end of year, which is 3, you'll show up in the second group. You won't show up in the first group. At this stage of the game, at rule number 3, keyword density is not an issue. It might become something to optimize later on at rule number 8, but not at rule number 3. And knowing the exact popularity rank score is a game changer because it gives us a sense of scale. I've asked TPT to share that with us sellers. And if you think that's important too, please email TPT support and say, hey, can you check out this video where Mike showed the popularity rank? Can we all see that information? Because that would level out the playing field. By the way, that AI keyword research tool that I showed that tells us the popularity rank, that tool will probably break on July 1st when TPT launches their new website, along with other TPT keyword tools, because they're based on the same technology of looking at the TPT website, looking at the hidden code in certain spots, and figuring out what the popularity rank is. And when the new website comes, the location of everything shifts around, or TPT might decide to hide it completely. So if you think popularity rank is important, wouldn't this be an awesome tool for TPT to show us on the back end? Beside the seller dashboard, you could have a TPT seller keyword dashboard. And that would help everyone because then we can optimize our resource for those TPT niche unicorns and we can get our great resources that teachers don't know about, because a large portion of the game is not just creating awesome resources, it's putting it in front of the right people who are looking for those resources. Likewise, I've invented this wicked cool keyword research tool, but if you don't know about it, then you're not going to use it. So knowing popularity rank is a game changer. Please subscribe if you learned something new. If you've already subscribed, please like the video because it encourages me to make more videos like this. Otherwise, I'm going to spend time working on my TPT store. This is a new series. Every Sunday, I'm going to put out a new video about TPT SEO secrets. We're making our way through the rules. Next episode, we're going to talk about filters. If you have any questions, leave them below and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.